from Midland, Odessa, and Big Spring, this is ABC Big 2 News at 5.
Now at 5, a Midland man was sentenced to 30 years in prison for multiple crimes. Plus, concerns rise over personal data safety as the company 23andMe is now filing for bankruptcy. And southern parts of Texas were hit with numerous flash flood emergencies. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Paxton Graff. We begin with an update as a Midland man was sentenced in federal court to 30 years in prison for child pornography production and drug and firearm offenses. On March 13th last year, 27-year-old Job Jasso Jr. led a Midland County Sheriff's Office deputy on a high-speed chase after an attempted traffic stop. Jasso crashed the vehicle off Highway 80 near the airport and ran. Though Jasso ran, he left a 17-year-old girl in the passenger seat. Investigators searched her phone and found multiple sexually explicit photos of Jasso and the minor girl. Now, days later, the Lone Star Fugitive Task Force executed an arrest warrant at a hotel where Jasso was staying. Inside the room, Jasso and the minor victim from the March 13th incident were found and taken into custody. Also in the room were 2 guns, ammo, and drugs, including fentanyl pills. Now, in August of last year, Jasso was indicted on several counts. A federal jury found him guilty in November. A second indictment was filed in September of last year. In all, Jasso was sentenced to 30 years behind bars. The West Texas FBI office says this sentence serves as a reminder to all predators. And you can read the full arrest affidavit right now on yourbasin.com. And developing now, the man listed as Midland Christian's chief financial officer was arrested and has been charged tonight. Rory Wade was arrested yesterday and charged with child grooming. Wade is listed as the CFO for Midland Christian on the school's website. As we work to gather more details of the arrest, the school's board of directors have sent us a statement. Now stay tuned to your ABC Big 2 News at 6 to hear what they had to say. And the family of 16-year-old Juan Rios, an Odessa teenager killed after he was ejected during a rollover crash earlier this week, has launched a fundraiser to help lay the teen to rest. If you'd like to help the family with funeral expenses, you can find the GoFundMe on our website, yourbasin.com. And to read more about the latest top stories from right here across the basin, visit yourbasin.com for more.
And now your forecast first on ABC Big 2 News.
And let's go now to our chief forecaster, Horace Brown. And Horace, we didn't get the rain we wanted, but it's not bad weather today for the most part.
No, and I know we've got a story about the rain that did happen in Texas, and boy, it was pretty bad in some locations. All right, let's take a look at the maps. We've got cloud cover starting to move in. Another trough is headed in our direction, and it's going to kick up the winds tomorrow. The bulk of the rain that caused the flooding in South Texas is now in North and East Texas, and it's continuing there. Here's where we are right now. We're clear. Skies are clear for the most part. Temperatures are very warm, 84 degrees. We're going to ease into the 80s, the low 80s as we get to 7 p.m., 70s the latter part of the evening, 60s early morning, and then 50s is where we'll start. But not to worry, we're still going to get back into the 80s again tomorrow. We're going to talk about that forecast and the rest of the forecast for the weekend and next week. That's coming up.
Well, thank you so much, Horace. And you touched on it a little bit earlier. In South McAllen and Harlingen, a flash flood emergency was issued multiple times, with the area receiving 6 to 12 inches of rains in some area, up to 18 inches in the past 48 hours. First responders are racing to complete dozens of water rescues, cars stranded in higher than waist-deep water. One of those rescued a pregnant woman having contractions near Walmart.
We were able to get her using one of our fire engines to one of the local facilities here to get her that higher advanced level of medical care that she needed.
Well, on Wednesday, the city of Midland announced that it will be improving its parking availability in the downtown area. I met with local business owners who shared what the current parking situation is like in downtown and why improvement is much needed. Parking. It should be as simple as that. You find a spot and you park there for the whole day. But the fact of the matter is, it's not as simple as that in downtown Midland.
It's 2-hour minimum. You're going to be towed. You're going to get a fine. And the tow trucks don't play. I've been towed.
Allison Herrera has been the proud owner of Magnolia Rose for just over a month now, but says the parking situation in downtown Midland is non-existent.
It's very hit or miss. You might come and get lucky and get a spot, Most of the times you don't. And if you don't know about the parking garage, you get frustrated and you leave.
There are definitely a lot of parking lots and spaces in the area, but the issue is most of them are owned by a business and are closed off to employees only, pushing everyone into one of the 2 parking garages in the area, which combine for only 5 levels of provided parking that are open to the public. Alyssa Norton has been the co-owner of 4 Dolls Boutique for 5 years now and says the parking situation has been the same since they opened the store and is ready for some much-needed change.
I think maybe if we had just a parking garage close by, or just like more spots available for potential customers or anybody just coming down here that's taking advantage of the park or the restaurants or shopping down here. I think it would be very helpful to have more spots available for us.
In response, the city of Midland reached a contract agreement recently with Ace Parking to improve the parking availability downtown.
This last council meeting, City Council approved a contract to help us develop a parking management plan for downtown that includes on-street parking and other city-owned parking facilities like our parking garages, a new city-owned parking lot, so that we really maximize the availability of parking for visitors coming downtown.
As of now, there's no hard deadline set on when the full project will be finished. However, the plan right now is to spend the next 6 months consulting a game plan together for the project. So in October is when the implementation phase is expected to begin. The main thing we know as of now is there won't be any parking meters or pay stations. Instead, there will be a QR code in every parking lot that you can scan and pay at. And city officials have stated that the initial costs on the project are expected to be offset by revenue from parking fees and citations. Reporting in downtown Midland, I'm Paxton Graff with your Basin Business Report. And to read more about the city's plan, head over to yourbasin.com. And now to concerns over the safety of the personal data of people who have had their DNA tested with 23andMe. The company is now filing for bankruptcy. ABC's Whit Johnson has the story.
What does DNA even stand for anyway?
This morning, the fate of DNA testing company 23andMe hangs in the balance after filing for bankruptcy, leaving many of its millions of customers scrambling to erase their profiles and data.
This bankruptcy announcement is certainly a privacy nightmare for consumers.
Some state officials, like California's Attorney General, telling customers to consider their rights, directing them to delete their data and ask the company to destroy any samples of genetic material.
Companies have anywhere between 30 to 45 days to delete the data. It's so important to do it now before this data changes hands.
The company wants a genealogy pioneer known for those saliva-based sample kits, identifying genetic health risks and, most notably, connecting long-lost relatives.
23andMe data.
Back in 2014, my own test unlocking a family bombshell. My father, Steve, was adopted. We knew nothing about his biological parents until my DNA linked with a close relative on 23andMe, who turned out to be my dad's brother.
My DNA test was that missing link.
It was the missing link. And that's the key thing.
This was the moment my dad and his brother Bear Backer met for the first time.
Long time no see. 7 years. How are you? Oh, I heard that back. How are you, brother? I'm good. Wow.
Over the years, that discovery led to another brother and possible sister on my grandmother's side. And just recently, 2 more brothers on my grandfather's side.
How would you characterize the reward that this information has brought to you in your life?
Well, like I say, most adopted people at some point or another wonder what's out there. And then you find that you have a brother, you learn about who your mother was. It sort of rounds out the feeling about who you are as a person.
But now, 23andMe users with similar stories of family connection are facing the difficult decision to remove the data that led to those breakthroughs and bonds yet to be made.
It does make me sad because it means that a lot of people who would have had the experience that I had won't have it because people just won't sign up for this stuff.
And while I decided to erase my data,
your data has been deleted.
My dad feels differently.
I'm not going to delete my data. For the handful of people that are really seeking information, this is the only way you're going to get it.
And the White House is looking for a new nominee for U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. President Trump pulled the nomination of Congresswoman Elise Stefanik this week. His reasoning, congressional math. In today's Political Minute, Blake Berman breaks it down.
The White House pulls a key nomination. I'm Blake Berman, host of The Hill on News Nation. President Trump has pulled the nomination of the New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik to become U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. The president pointing to the razor-thin Republican majority in the House. He said on social media, quote, "With a very tight majority, I don't want to take a chance on anyone else running for Elise's seat." Now, Republicans have a historically small majority in the House of Representatives, currently 218 to 213 with 4 vacancies. Some of those vacancies up for special election this year. Stefanik's seat would be as well if she left Congress. Stefanik carried her district by more than 20 points back in November. Both the president and the House Speaker have said Stefanik will return to the leadership table in the House. She had given up her role as the conference chair when she accepted the nomination for UN ambassador. I'm Blake Berman, and this is the News Nation Political Minute.
Hey, you can also find more news and analysis from Blake and his colleagues 24/7 on News Nation. To find News Nation on your screen, go to joinnn.com. And coming up, we take a look at a new Italian restaurant in Odessa in an all-new Basin Bites. That's after weather.
And in weather, we're going to talk about the temperatures that happened today and what's going to happen this weekend. 80s across the neighborhood. Some of the warmest air in Texas is right here at home. We've got some cooler readings to the east, and that's because rain is still there. 50s will start us off tomorrow, but don't worry, we're back into the 80s. Your forecast is coming up.
For your latest news, listen to Big 2 Updates weekday mornings beginning at 6 on your all-time country favorites, Kicks 99.1. And now, your local weather authority forecast.
Well, yesterday we had clouds in the sky behind us here on our tower cam. Today, we've got clear skies. So everything's cleared out. We do have another system on the way, though, that will move in this weekend, but it is going to be more of a wind maker than a cloud producer. So we're not expecting a whole lot of cloud cover. And even if we do, it's going to be more high clouds than low clouds. Looking at the satellite radar composite, let's start there. Here comes the trough that's going to move in, kick up the winds on Saturday. It does have some rain associated with it over the Four Corners states. They're going to see some showers there, maybe even some high elevation snows, but for us, nothing. To the east, we do have what's left of the storm system that brought the flooding rains to South Texas. It is now moving off to the east and headed toward Louisiana and Arkansas. They're going to feel the effects of that system. Clear skies for us, clear skies expected. As we head into tonight, we will see, again, some clouds roll in, but we're going to see the winds really pick up. That's going to be the big story. Starting out in the 50s tomorrow, here comes the clouds. Again, more high clouds than anything, 87 for a high tomorrow. So very warm conditions expected, and this pattern will continue through the weekend. We're still looking for a comfortable start on Sunday, and then daytime highs once again in the 80s, a little bit cooler, but not much. We're only talking low 80s. All right, drought condition remains the same. We had rain, but it didn't do a whole lot to the situation we have. When you need steady rain and you get heavy rain, it just doesn't work on dry soil. It just runs off and it causes flooding. We need a nice steady rain to come in the forecast. Fire weather warnings still in place for Saturday at 9 p.m. All the areas highlighted in pink. High wind warnings too for the Guadalupe Mountains, and of course dry conditions, fire weather watches in place for other areas. Wind speeds currently not bad, teens and 20s across the area. We're going to see the numbers increase, though, overnight tonight. Here comes the winds with that trough, and they're going to start to really develop. We're talking southwest and south winds, too, a dry air